Did you know that nearly 62% of men over the age of 60 in the United States are silently facing a decline in vitality, but only about 30% of them truly understand the real cause? Surprisingly, many of these cases do not come from serious medical conditions, but rather from a very subtle imbalance in the body, specifically the rising level of internal acidity as we age. In fact, a study from Harvard found that even a mild imbalance in blood pH can affect circulation, skin health, and aging hormones, especially in men. This means you do not need complicated or expensive solutions. Sometimes, just one simple ingredient from your kitchen, like baking soda, if used correctly, could become the key to restoring your energy, supporting your urinary system, and helping stabilize your aging hormones. If you're looking for a gentle way to reconnect with yourself after turning 60, this might be what you have been waiting for. Before we continue, please click follow and type the number 1 if this message speaks to you. If it does not, feel free to type 0. I truly appreciate every response. Many people believe that losing flexibility, having dull skin, or feeling drained after the age of 60 is simply an inevitable part of aging. But in reality, many of these changes do not come from age itself, but from a factor that few people pay attention to: the silent acidification inside the body. When the body gradually loses its ability to maintain a stable pH level, especially after 60, the circulatory system slows down, the blood becomes thicker, and the kidneys no longer eliminate toxins as efficiently as before. As a result, waste substances such as uric acid and free radicals build up, creating an environment that silently triggers chronic inflammation in every cell. Blood no longer flows smoothly. Oxygen fails to reach the organ sufficiently, and this leads to a chain of symptoms like pale skin, quick muscle fatigue, hormone imbalance, and a gradual loss of vitality. I still remember very clearly Harold, a 67-year-old patient from Arizona. He used to be an active man, always waking up early to walk a few laps around the park every morning. But recently, Harold started to feel a strange sluggishness. Even after getting a full 8 hours of sleep, he woke up feeling heavy. His skin looked grayish, and his motivation was not the same. His routine checkup showed normal results. No high cholesterol, no diabetes, no clear heart problems. But Harold knew something in his body had changed, and he was right. What was happening could not be detected by standard blood tests. It was hidden in how his blood was moving inside his body, slowly, lacking oxygen, and no longer strong enough to nourish all his tissues and hormonal systems like before. The important thing is that this condition does not happen suddenly. It builds up silently over time, and when people finally notice, many believe it is already too late. But the good news is, if we understand how to support the body properly, we can help neutralize the internal environment, improve blood flow, support hormone function, and gradually restore the foundation of male vitality. If you have ever used baking soda to deodorize the fridge, clean the sink, or even brush your teeth, you might be surprised to learn that this simple white powder, often seen only as a kitchen item, can actually have a positive impact on circulation and vitality in older adults. By nature, baking soda is a natural alkaline substance. When it enters the body, it helps neutralize excess acid and brings the blood environment back to a more stable state. This may sound minor, but it plays a major role. When blood maintains a proper pH balance, blood vessels are able to expand more easily. Blood flow becomes smoother, and oxygen can reach organs more effectively, from the skin to the prostate, from the muscles to the central nervous system. I once consulted with Raymond, a retired veterinarian, 69 years old, living in Florida. He came to me with complaints of constant fatigue, feeling foggy even after a full night's sleep, pale skin, and a lack of interest in even simple daily activities. After ruling out any serious medical issues, we discovered that his pH levels were leaning slightly toward the acidic side, not severe enough to be considered a disease, but enough to cause persistent strain on his circulatory system. I suggested he try a small dose of baking soda diluted in warm water in the morning, just 3 times a week, along with a light diet low in processed foods. After just over a week, Raymond returned and shared that he felt noticeably lighter, his skin looked brighter, he was sleeping more deeply, and most importantly, he felt mentally refreshed in the morning, something he had not experienced for many months. Of course, baking soda is not a miracle cure, but it is one part of a broader approach to help bring the body back to its natural balance. When blood flows more efficiently, the body naturally adjusts many vital functions, including male vitality and the control of the urinary system, which often becomes more sensitive after age 60. If we had to choose the single most important factor for maintaining vitality in later years, nothing is more essential than blood circulation. Blood is the pathway that delivers oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and energy to every organ, from the brain to the skin, from the heart and lungs to the prostate and urinary system. But after age 60, blood vessels often become stiffer, narrower, and less flexible due to aging, oxidative stress, and the buildup of metabolic waste. As a result, blood no longer flows smoothly, leading to cold hands and feet, dull skin, reduced stamina, slower recovery, and, especially, a decline in hormonal function. This is where the role of baking soda becomes noteworthy, when used in the right amount. Baking soda not only helps balance pH, but also indirectly supports the dilation of blood vessels by boosting the production of nitric oxide, a compound that naturally widens blood vessels. Nitric oxide is the signal the body uses to tell vessel walls to relax, making it easier for blood to flow. When circulation improves, tissues receive the oxygen and nutrients they need to function, which reduces fatigue and naturally enhances endurance. George, 71 years old, living in California, came to me with cold hands and feet, poor sleep, and a sense that his body was no longer as flexible as before. His heart checkup showed nothing alarming, but clearly something deeper was still unresolved. After a thorough conversation, we decided to try a simple routine with baking soda, just half a teaspoon diluted in warm water, taken 3 times a week, along with light morning walks, in less than 10 days. George returned with a bright smile. He said, "I feel like someone just turned the water back on after a long blockage. My body feels lighter, my hands and feet are warm again, and my mind is clearer." That improvement did not come from luck. It came from the moment his blood started flowing properly again. When circulation is strong, the body's organs, including the hormonal and male vitality systems, have a real chance to recover from within. Have you ever wondered why just a short walk or a few minutes of gardening can leave your legs feeling tight, or even lead to nighttime cramps? This is not because you are lazy or neglecting your health. In fact, once you reach your 60s, your muscle cells begin to accumulate more lactic acid after each activity. This acid is a byproduct created when muscles use energy, and if it is not cleared quickly, it can cause soreness, fatigue, and even extend the time needed for recovery after physical movement. This not only affects your strength, but also makes many older adults hesitant to stay active, leading to muscle loss and a drop in stamina. Baking soda, thanks to its mild alkalinity, can help the body naturally neutralize lactic acid when used correctly. Baking soda helps muscles function more efficiently, reduces soreness, and improves recovery after gentle physical activity. This is a key factor in maintaining endurance, improving mobility, and preserving independence in everyday life. I once met James, a 68-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio. Even after retirement, he kept his habit of walking around the park each morning. But over the past few months, he began to feel tightness and cramping in his legs halfway through the walk. He felt discouraged, especially because he had always been strong and active, after ruling out neurological and cardiovascular issues. I suggested he try using baking soda along with foot massages after walking. Just 1 week later, James came back with a big smile. I walked the entire loop without pain. It's been a long time since I felt this confident in my legs. When muscles are properly cared for, fatigue no longer becomes something to fear with movement. And more importantly, you regain a sense of control over your body, something that age can sometimes make us feel we have lost. Many people over the age of 60 often blame aging when they start forgetting familiar names, taking longer to find the right words in a conversation, or feeling like a fog is clouding their mind. But in truth, forgetfulness, mental fatigue, and poor sleep are not just caused by age. They are also signs that the brain may not be receiving enough blood flow. When circulation is poor, the oxygen and essential nutrients that power brain function are reduced, which affects memory, alertness, and mood. One of the main reasons for reduced blood flow to the brain in older adults is acid buildup in the circulatory system. When the body's internal environment leans too acidic, the blood tends to become thicker and blood vessels constrict. This prevents oxygen from moving smoothly to critical areas, including the brain. That is when baking soda becomes a gentle yet effective solution. With its acid neutralizing properties, baking soda not only helps balance blood pH, but also indirectly softens blood vessels, increases circulation to the brain, and improves mental clarity. Leonard, 74 years old, a retired teacher from Seattle, once told me he was deeply worried because he could no longer recall his favorite poems or would walk into the kitchen and forget why he went there. He described it as a nameless fog. After starting a light routine with baking soda, along with deep breathing and morning walks, Leonard returned with a brighter look in his eyes and said something I will never forget. It feels like the fog in my mind has been swept away by the wind. Not only can I remember better, but I feel clear-headed the moment I wake up each morning. Cognitive recovery does not always require something drastic. Sometimes, simply helping blood reach the brain more efficiently gives it what it needs to function properly. And when your mind becomes clear again, everything else in life starts to feel more manageable. When it comes to senior health, most people think of the heart, blood pressure, or memory, but often avoid talking about the changes that happen in the urinary and male vitality systems. In reality, this is a crucial part of a man's quality of life and self-perception after the age of 60. Over time, the blood vessels that supply the pelvic region closely connected to the prostate, bladder, and hormonal function often narrow due to low-grade chronic inflammation or poor circulation. When blood flow to these organs is insufficient, natural control, sensitivity, and vitality can decline significantly. What many people do not expect is that baking soda may help support this function through a simple mechanism reducing acidity, soothing microvascular inflammation, and improving blood flow to even the most difficult-to-reach areas of the body. In a balanced pH environment, small blood vessels become more flexible, circulation improves, and organs such as the prostate and bladder have a better chance of functioning properly. This is not a substitute for medication, but rather a natural way to help the body reset itself from within. Walter, 72 years old, living in Nebraska, shared that he had started to feel a loss of confidence due to subtle and private changes in his body. Even though he ate well and stayed physically active, he still felt his vitality slowly fading. after following a gentle routine with baking soda a few times per week, combined with a diet lower in animal protein and higher in alkalizing vegetables. He began to notice clear improvements. I feel like my body is restoring something I thought was lost for good. And it's not just physical, it's about confidence too. He shared, restoring health in the most sensitive areas of male well-being is not only about medication. It begins with restoring the body's inner flow, the flow of blood, the balance of hormones, and the quiet energy that comes from within you. After understanding the many benefits that baking soda can offer, from improving circulation, supporting muscles, enhancing mental clarity, to helping restore male vitality and urinary health, the next important step is knowing how to use it effectively and safely. Even though it is a simple ingredient, baking soda must still be used with awareness, the correct method, and proper dosage to avoid unwanted effects. In my many years of advising older men on health, I have seen several cases where impatience led to overuse, resulting in bloating, indigestion, and even trouble sleeping or mild digestive upset. The first rule when using baking soda is use a small amount, but consistently, specifically. The commonly recommended dose for healthy adults is half teaspoon mixed with about 200 milliliters of warm water, taken when the stomach is slightly empty, ideally about 30 minutes before breakfast. It should not be taken more than 3 to 4 times per week and should never be used daily for extended periods. A typical case was Robert, 66 years old, from Michigan. After learning about the benefits of baking soda, he decided to drink it every morning and evening for 10 days straight. As a result, he began feeling fatigued, experienced stomach discomfort, and became more irritable. When he returned to the clinic, we reviewed his daily habits and found that the cause was his excessive and continuous use of baking soda without breaks. After adjusting his routine to 3 times per week and adding potassium-rich foods like bananas and sweet potatoes to help balance electrolytes, his body stabilized within a few days. Another common mistake is thinking that baking soda can completely replace prescribed medications. In reality, this is a supportive method, not the only solution. For those currently managing high blood pressure, kidney disease, or taking diuretics or medications that affect blood pH, it is important to consult a doctor before using baking soda regularly, in addition to drinking it. Baking soda can also be used in other ways, such as soaking the feet in warm water mixed with a teaspoon of baking soda to relieve tension and support peripheral circulation. Some people also dilute baking soda in water to gently wash the face, helping brighten the skin and reduce pore inflammation. These methods are simple, but when done regularly and paired with a healthy lifestyle, they can bring noticeable results. The key here does not lie in the magic of baking soda, but in understanding your body's limits and using it the right way, when used wisely. This humble ingredient can become a powerful ally, helping you maintain vitality and hormonal balance in a natural, sustainable, and stress-free way. And we have just taken a journey together to explore an ingredient that many think belongs only in the kitchen, but one that quietly holds the power to support male vitality and hormonal health after age 60. Baking soda is not a cure-all, nor is it a miracle, but when used correctly, it can silently improve blood circulation, ease muscle strain, reduce internal acid buildup, and support the nervous system, urinary health, and male vitality areas that often decline but receive too little attention after the age of 60. The important thing to remember is that you do not need to overhaul your entire life or adopt complicated measures. Sometimes, one small action each morning, like dissolving half a teaspoon of baking soda into a glass of warm water and drinking it on an empty stomach, is enough to start a quiet ripple that refreshes the entire internal rhythm of your body. When paired with foot soaks, healthy meals, and gentle movement, your body can gradually return to its natural rhythm, no pressure, No rush. Remember, vitality in later years is not about your biological age. It is about how you care for yourself each day. And if you have ever felt tired, less motivated to move, or not as confident in your body, today could be the beginning of a new chapter. If you found today's message helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos on diet, exercise, and natural remedies that support male vitality, prostate health, and hormone balance after 60. Leave a comment. Have you ever tried using baking soda this way? Or is there a topic you would like us to cover? We are always here to listen and walk with you on your journey to better health in later life gently, scientifically, and with care.